Hey, I'm Stress here, joined by Paravival. First of all, I want to say thank you for joining us after what is a difficult loss. The first thing I want to talk about, Power, is Misfits have been very successful this split, but there have been now two teams that have taken you down. First of all, G2 and now H2K. When you guys go back this week, how does the Misfits organization and structure handle a loss like this?
Well, so first of all, we obviously wanted to go into the series and win it. So I think it was since G2, I think our the hardest beating we took. So I think we have a lot to learn from these games, and I think we are going to rewatch these games individually and as a team, and I think we can learn a lot from.
There's a lot the Misfits have talked about mentality. Does that kind of come from the players, or is that more the support staff? Like, how come Misfits have such a good mentality right now?
I think everyone in the team, every player has really, really good mentality and really good attitude and kind of just like work ethic. So I think even though we took a hard beating today, I think we're going to recover, and just next week is going to be a new week and new games. So I think we're going to be good.
It certainly will be, and I think that puts fear in Group A if you guys are going to bounce back and recover. I do want to talk a little bit about the two games. In Game 1, you played the Ahri, an assassin that normally needs to snowball. Perks was asking a little bit on the desk about the Abyssal, the Zhonya's build that you went against tanks. Do you mind elaborating a little bit on the decision-making for your Ahri build?
Well, so I wanted to go Abyssal since side lane. With Abyssal against Marauders, I'm going to win really hard. And we have the Shen ultimate, so we should win the split push. But I think Faberfin played really good around not actually going on the side lane and more grouping of mid lane. So I can't really punish him, so I always need to run mid lane, get priority as a team. He just runs top, out pushes, and it's just all the time like swapping the lanes. So we can't really use the Shen Ahri combination. But I think we had the lead and we could actually snowball the game. We kind of threw on bot lane with the plays since I couldn't join and I was on top lane stuck. So that was just like a really, really huge gamble we took, and it was not paying out. So I think first game we pretty much just threw.
And then Game 2, leaving the LeBlanc open. There's a lot that plays into that decision. Would you mind giving us a little bit of your thoughts playing the Rise into it specifically?
Well, so we had huge success actually playing versus LeBlanc, and we knew that there's going to be probably early games mid lane, especially in the LeBlanc matchup against Rise or LeBlanc against Ahri, whatever we took. But we actually didn't think about level 2. Like he actually started our red buff, so we didn't really think about that one, and it was just really surprising since I think in both games Jankos took jungle pathings we didn't actually knew about, so it was 2 times really new for us, so we could learn a lot, and we went I think a little bit too greedy in our draft. We took scaling mid lane, scaling top lane, scaling AD carry, so we should have not. Yeah, obviously we just lost the draft by going way too greedy.
I think the greedy play, though, for Misfits has worked out in previous weeks, right? You guys have had a lot of success up until this point. As we said, only 2 teams now own a winning record over you. I want to talk a little bit about Misfits being in second spot, G2 with the team above you. What do Misfits need to do in your mind, one thing, to actually start competing against G2 the next time you play next week?
Well, so I think we need to, first of all, in second game, I think we just need to fix our draft. So I think the second game was a lot just coming out by draft, and the first game, obviously, as I said before, I think we threw, so I think it was equally gold. Obviously, you can't tell since I don't have the outsider perspective, but it felt actually good in game, but we kind of just gave it out of the hands, so we need to stop these risky gambling plays and probably just improve our early game a little bit better. So you could see a huge difference between our last week series we had, where we always got this early lead and could snowball it and translate it to mid and late game. And today we really got just rolled over in the early game, and we always needed to play from behind.
I know it's been a difficult day for you, Tristan. We're going to let you head back to your team, but thank you very much for joining us. No we're loving seeing Misfits in the LCS and the success that you guys are having. Looking forward to that matchup against G2 next week. But for now, we're going to head over to the post-game lobby.
Thank you so much for that interview as well, Stress and Paravival. And welcome to the post-game lobby. We have Crepo, we have Perks, and we have Jankos. And we got to start with you, Jankos. Congratulations, 2-0. How happy are you with your series?
To be honest, I think that the games were way easier than we were expecting. I do believe that we... No way, bro. Look, we prepared for those games. We had 1 week of scrims. We took them very seriously this time, and I think it paid off. I also think that they were making a lot of mistakes in the early game, and they didn't punish as well in the comp where they had to snowball the early game. So they made a lot of mistakes that we were doing in 2016. So we could see them in game, we could abuse them, and we were really calm doing so.
I don't think you were flaming, but I think generally we expected, I think we all expected a closer series, 3 games, or Misfits to put up more of a fight. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think the problem is with Misfits, if you draft a composition game 2, it has to scale that much against a team like H2K who's going full on in the early game. That in itself is very risky, and I think is almost disrespectful.
I think Jankos has something to say about people who draft like that.
And then if you make a crucial mistake and you get invaded by the first blood king and you lose your Raptors and red buff, then it's really hard.
Let's look at that early game because you did start. You wanted to teach Kakao a lesson, is what it looked like, Jankos. This is actually the first kill.
To be honest, this is something that it's part of people's mistakes. I mean, I think I respect him, so I'm not going to say that he is dumb. But this is a rookie mistake, you know? Yeah. Like level 2 die from the jungler, you shouldn't die like this. So I think overall...
Especially when he knew where he was.
Yeah, like the thing is Kakao saw me on red buff, or he didn't see me, but they could have expected it. And it's very likely that Lee Sin will gank with LeBlanc, you know, especially if LeBlanc doesn't have Q. And then, as we could see, we dived top lane a lot, simply because Rumble has pressure over Nautilus. Ivern cannot really punish Lee Sin, especially after that start. So going top lane was the most optimal play.
And also just speaking Nautilus into Rumble is really just like disrespectful.
I mean, you kind of farm well and then you outscale him, but this is the risk, you know? You pick Ivern and Nautilus in the same team.
The Rumble like pushes in all the time and will go at least when he sees up and he'll have pressure and can move anywhere. So I think it's
okay, so you are too good, or what?
Yeah.
Okay, you would win, yeah?
Yeah, I would win with Rumble, for sure.
Guys, if you look at the mid lane play and you say, you know, this is a mistake from Power of Evil, is it not more so a communication mistake of Misfits? Or, Perks, when you're in a game, are you expected to see that? Or do you expect Trick, for example, your jungler, to tell you that this jungler could be arriving? Same for afterwards Jankos, maybe?
I mean, I usually see this kind of stuff, but Trick always calls everything. So he's like, jungle mid, and I'm like, okay, I can't die then.
Jankos, you're not as perfect as a player who sees everything like Perks. Do you need help from your teammates there?
I mean, I don't want to talk about scrims, but in scrims, Perks dies to level 2 gank like almost every game. So I don't know if you can say, I see it every time, bro.
If you want scrim elo, then you can just gank me, you know?
Oh, yeah. But overall, yeah, I think Kakao should communicate that I could either level 3 gank top lane after cracks, either I will go mid lane level 2, especially like Perks said, you know, LeBlanc took E, so there's no real counterplay. And this is pretty much the only chance we have in this matchup, you know, because afterwards, Ryze will outscale, he will pressure the lane, he will base for tier. So we abused the mistake, but the mistake shouldn't happen in the first place.
Yeah, just to illustrate how far you guys were ahead, you dealt Misfits their largest goal deficit at 10, 15, and 20 minutes this split. So I think that must have hurt.
Oh, wow.
Did you want to ask another question? You've took the play-by-play. You want to be the host?
Nope,
Is there anything else you want to do?
I'm just going to sit here and
just kidding.
host.
Just kidding. I wanted to ask you about how did it feel? How was it?
When we got the news that Dracos was sick, we kind of came up with a fun plan of doing the Fisher Crepo cast. I think it went okay.
Do you have a newfound respect for play-by-play casters?
Oh, definitely have a I always respect the play-by-plays. You know, I love them. But it's definitely hard to, especially when production's talking in your ear and feeding you stat lines or telling you like, do you want to do post-game lobby while trying to figure out what's going on in the game?
You mean you don't do everything by yourself?
No, definitely not. And then having Martin troll me in a cast it's a bit like what Perks is doing to Jankos, but a little harder while you're on air. So definitely hard.
Were the games slower than you expected?
I think game 1 was slow, but it was fun because at least I feel game 1 you guys were always fighting over something, like whether it was some vision or cross mapping.
Wait, Crepo. Are you trying to tell me that H2K didn't do that many mistakes in mid and late game? Oh my God.
We actually had a tweet from a famous Polish jungler that said exactly we have 1 month before playoffs and now we have to focus on our mid to late game, and I have to say, Jankos, congratulations, you guys definitely improved.
Triple congratulations. Improved player of the game, Jankos, and you locked in your spot in playoffs. Wow. Woo!
Yeah, but the thing is, match against Misfits doesn't matter because we want to end first in our group and we have to win against UL to do so. So even if we would lose today and, you know, next week we play UL and we would win again UL, it's
you will
like...
have to play the matchup properly to win that game.
Yeah. It's going to be way harder against UL because I think they focus on early game way more, but they are still... I think as the season goes, and they start really strong. They always like go down and down because it seems like they try to play the smart game right now, and they are known for being like really aggressive and taking every fight, which they are not doing right now after IM for some reason.
This will most likely be on 7.5, though. Have you guys had any experience in solo queue with the patch?
Not really, because the same champs I've been playing in scrims, I've been playing in solo queue, so I didn't want to like try actually new stuff with new masteries or champs or whatever. So I don't know if it's same for Jankos, but
Because with the exhaust ignite changes, some champion nerfs here and there, like this could actually favor the unicorns in a more aggressive setting.
I think Rise is nerfed, so that really does not favor the unicorns, but some other stuff maybe, yeah, they're good at like discovering new things. So.
Yeah, I mean, Rengar is nerfed and Rise is nerfed. And I was inting it on Rengar, and on IM. I was like totally not good.
You were learning.
I was learning, yes. And then, you know, Exile, he's big fan of Rise, you know. So Rise is nerfed as well now.
Yeah, it's his best buddy, I think.
Yeah, I think 7.5 is in our favor, a little bit more than 7.4. Okay. I'm glad.
Oh, well, yeah, that would mean really good things for you guys because you seem to have fixed up some of the mid and late game things as you alluded to. But
Well,
I think
I wouldn't go that far. We can still, you know.
I'm just repeating what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not
just
good.
because we won 1 PO3 doesn't mean that we are actually good now, you know. We will still make...
This is the analyst desk. We overreact, we overgeneralize, and
We always results-based analysis. That's all we do. If you look at H2K, very often we, from the colorcaster sides, we talk about like how your mid to late game is bad because of some greed and because of like maybe the communication, everybody's shouting and nobody kind of changes the call mid-play.
no.
Like if ever, no, I think multiple people are very loud in H2K. When you go for a Baron, like to turn around, is that what's blocking the mid to late game, or what are some of the issues that H2K is or was potentially struggling with?
Okay, for example, communication of Flash Wolves, when we were screaming against them and we were sitting pretty much in the same room on IM, they were screaming like animals. Like, I mean, as of really loud and like everyone could hear them in the room, you know? But no one could understand them, so that was unlucky. But the point is, I think, yes, we need to be more calm in mid-game, more collective, and we can't really force plays too often, you know? Like last year, we had this issue where we had Forgiven, Vander, and Ryu, and in mid-game, we would like mental
Only go
block.
forward.
Yeah, only go forward, and we
was not
couldn't
going
really
backwards.
like, hey guys, maybe we should pick Ezreal and scale a bit. And, you know, if they dive you both 3 times, it's fine. But because, you know, it wouldn't be fine. Yes, exactly, Caitlyn login.
all right. moving on.
But the point is that, yeah, I mean, basically, right now we are more collective, more calm. We go for like the slow plays. We pick like, we play around comp. Our team fights are still a little bit of a struggle, but they are getting better. So I'm happy with the results so far.
Perks, were you even allowed to scrim the Flash Wolves?
Yeah, we actually scrimmed them 2 or 3 games.
My burn just failed. It's very hard. Like, it's all good. Yeah, no, it was me. All right, we're going to move on.
Never mind.
You say yes, you were.
Yes.
All right, well, you guys were climbing to the top of your group. There was a very important match for the bottom of the tables, and Rocket, they took down Vitality 2-0. This is, of course, your ex-organization, Jankos, so it might make you a bit happy that they took Vitality down 2-0.
Yes,
Were you able to
hashtag
see
Rocket
it?
Fighting. Yeah, I was watching the
Set the
games.
rules.
I think that Vitality, for some reason, is not improving. And, you know, 2015, 16, Cabochard, Nukeduck, names like this, even Steelback, they were like big names, they were respected. Right now it seems like they are struggling. I don't know if as individuals or because they have no proper coaching, but the point is Rocket did beat them, looked pretty, I mean, it didn't look easy for Rocket, but you know, it wasn't hard either. For some reason they won like in mid-late game, and overall I think Rocket is improving a lot and playing well.
Actually, the games were quite scrappy.
I mean, Vitality should have just won the first game. If you pick a 1-3-1 comp and you get
You pick Varus, you mean?
and you pick all the you pick Varus and you get a 1-3-1 comp with massive advantage on Kennen on the side lanes. You open up 4 turrets and the only thing that is left standing is tier 2 in bot lane. And for over 15 minutes you can actually not get that turret and you start team fighting. I think you're just not taking the game seriously.
I remember one time when we were playing against Vitality on stage, Steelback first item was QSS.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, I think it's very often.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. It is interesting though that you talk about like the players like Cabochard and Nukeduck and Steelback who've been around for a very long time and are not at the top now. But you, for instance, you have been around for a very, very long time. So what is
But he's not been at the top very long.
right?
Yes.
So is that the difference? And how do you kind of keep growing, or how do you keep finding the motivation? Because in the end, you're doing a lot of the same for a long time.
I mean, I've been in the LCS since 2014. I think that year I was pretty good. I think with the full Polish lineup, we were doing well. We had good coach, good players. in 2015, the changes that we made didn't work out in our favor, and we started being bad. Not only me, but also the team. Overall, we struggled in mid-late game, in early game even. I didn't play my role in the jungle, and other players, were struggling as well. Our coach didn't help us much, so it was very hard. But then in 2016, when I joined to H2K again, with Proli, I worked on some of the mistakes, and it's getting better again. So I think overall, not only the individual is important, but also the coach. And I believe that even if your team is bad and you're playing well, then people will realize you are playing well, so they could pick you up. Like for example, me and H2K. But yeah, it's not simple, and it's not easy to be at the top forever. You need this drive to the game. You need to not care about money and care for win. Mm-hmm. Sounds weird, right? But yeah.
No, it sounds logical to me.
We see a lot of talk about Proli, the prodigy coach, formerly Ziggs mid and all. But who's kind of Chris, and I believe Stardust is also helping you guys. Like, what's going on more than Proli, and how are those people helping assist you, maybe in particular?
I mean, Stardust often messages me on my back. So that's really nice because, I mean, it's funny, but like I'm sitting here and I'm, kind of like.
Are you relaxed right now?
Yeah, I mean, I am. But imagine like there is like, this dude like massaging my. Okay, this is going too far. But Proli and Stardust are really good coaches. I think Proli is, only like in-game stuff and like outside of the game a little bit too. Our manager helps a lot when it comes to mentality and like stuff outside of the game. Then our coach is like big guy, like in the game, like Proli is so smart. I mean, I said it so many times already, right? I mean, he's so smart. And then Stardust, like, he's like translator, kind of analyst. Like, he does everything, but he doesn't have like his main role, Mm-hmm. Like, he helps everyone. Like, he's a coach, he's a translator, he's an analyst, he's like everything.
Yeah, well, it does seem to the teams top of the table. You guys are also at the top of the table. If we look at the standings, you guys are all locked into playoffs. G2, the Unicorns of Love, and H2K and Misfits. And it is kind of a thread that we see. Those four top teams, we all know that they have a very solid organizational structure and a lot of things in place to help the teams.
Yeah, I think it's super important that you now start supporting the players with just more than a coach. I'm a big fan of what G2 did as well from their strategy, keeping the same players. Could not find a better mid laner. Surprised they didn't, but even then they kept Perks and they improved the infrastructure. I think it's still okay. Yeah. How's it been actually, Perks? All trolling aside, like having more than just Youngbuck right there, have you felt a big influence on like mentality, composure, preparation?
I think it helped mostly Joey like the most. He was doing everything for us basically last year, like legit every job. So having like
I heard he was even cooking for you guys.
Yeah, he still does.
But massages.
It's good food. Before Joey gets married, it's good food. And the new two coaches, like Alex helps him with like they share everything, like they help each other. And Velon is more like he was also like they all want to share like everything and not just do one specific thing. But Velon is like the most instrumental in like outside the game, like mindset wise and all the things that he like teaches us. So it's been useful. Like it's for sure like helped me and everyone else from the team. But it also comes in like the experience from last year, like having 1 year of playing like full 11 months in a row with barely any breaks.
Yeah.
But like winning and losing, like I think losing like makes you grow more as a person and as a player maybe than
Definitely
winning.
agree. Grown a lot in my career.
So, but winning is also like it's a nice feeling, and it's good to like see what you came from and how to get back to winning. So.
Actually, yesterday when you guys were down one game, Ocelot jumps on Twitter immediately and said, "Well, maybe it isn't the worst thing in the world that we win a game." I was like, "But is this? I get the sentiment, but
I think it's a comfortable thing to say.
Yeah,
especially
you're 9-0 or you were
when you're
8-0.
like in the first place. You know what? I think we can afford a loss here to prepare. And I think it's actually good when teams lose right before playoffs because it just highlights vulnerabilities. I'm sure if H2K play like a super good game, but you get exposed like at IEM, for example, that's only going to help you in the long run, right?
I mean, kind of. I think at IEM it was a little bit different because we should have won the second game against Flash Wolves. I don't know about G2 since, Europe versus Europe is different. Maybe, we played better against Flash Wolves than against G2. So, but the point is that, I mean, we fixed a lot of the mistakes that came with IEM. And I don't really want to get exposed before playoffs, but I would prefer to get exposed before playoffs than, at playoffs itself.
Or in scrims, maybe.
No, screens doesn't matter.
Was this match actually a big indicator for you guys? Because for us, at least, we thought Misfits were really strong, and they are, of course, still really, really strong. But we didn't know about the exact kind of differences
ranking.
between the teams, but it does look like H2K is quite a step ahead, and you guys have also beaten them. Does it change your perception of the way playoffs are going to go?
I think H2K and us got kind of a boost from IEM, like getting to see how better teams play, and just like volunteer teams from Korea have better macro than us, or had better macro than us.
It's
And-
very sad.
And yeah, it's very sad, but you actually like learn from them, and like when you just watch like volunteer teams from Korea play, like you think, oh, they're so bad, you know. But when you play against them, you're like getting choked out of vision. They're always moving as one unit. They're everywhere on the map, and they just reset when they should reset, and they just play really good. And that's something like we learned, and we are trying to implement more in our play. I think it's same for H2K, and I think it can show in new LCS that like we are just trying to work on those mistakes. Like we're not trying to stomp EU teams or something. We are trying to work on our mistakes that will make us weak in the long run, and now we're working on them, so yeah.
Is that something that you change then from the ground up in scrim culture in Europe? Because I asked you, like, you don't even care if you get exposed in scrims, because scrims don't matter seemingly much, or?
I mean, the thing is, none of the European teams play scrims so well that you can actually expose someone. I think G2 and us, we have very good scrims because both teams play slow game and play kind of on stage.
Unless if some integ in Milan happens.
Yeah, I mean, there's some games where I inted, Perks inted, you know, sometimes Fabi just, you know, walks into enemy turret for no reason.
Happens.
But yeah, this happens.
Yeah.
But like sometimes...
But usually I think, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like sometimes you play against like bottom tier teams, and either you stomp them and you don't know what to do because you are wasting your time. Either you play against a team that's like better, like mid-pack team, but still they are playing way different than on stage. So then the practice is, you know, efficient, but not as efficient. So I actually really like to scrim G2 because I feel even though it's more emotional because, you know, losing a lot in scrims is not good either. And sometimes, you know, we go for one, sometimes they go for one. And it's like,
Yeah.
you know, the day wasn't so nice. But the point is that, yeah, I mean, it's very nice.
Okay.
I agree completely with Jankos. I think like especially like streaming them is better than streaming other teams because they also like take scrims a bit more serious than other teams. Some other teams like try too many champs or try too many matchups, or I don't know, just play full aggro or just a lot different, like a lot different than in scrim than on stage. And I think scrimming H2K is like the most accurate way of like having a good scrim practice. So.
Well, as same as the question goes, how do the top teams improve, is also, of course, the question for a lot of the teams that we have at the bottom of the table. We saw some in action this weekend. And tomorrow, also, the EULCS will conclude at 4 p.m. Central European time with Origin versus Giants, who, are fighting to stay out of the relegation zone. If we have some teams like Schalke, who's been crushing it, PSG coming up there as well, these games are becoming incredibly important.
Yeah, I'm super excited, like, to see how the bottom of the pack evolves, because like a single win just means so much for a lot of these teams. And I'm actually almost disappointed and happy at the same time that when a guy like EpicSkillshot can step into a team that has been performing like Origin and actually from a support position can already have like noticeable improvement. It worries me a little that they may actually not get relegated, because the way they were playing, they should just drop out of the league. But the fact that when
you think it would be fair?
Well, if they without the EpicSkillshot, they would have dropped out. They would have lost relegation. But now with the EpicSkillshot, I think they can actually make it through, because this guy actually knows how to play clutch shot calling in a best of 5.
What are your guys' opinions? Origin's at 0 wins, 0 and 8 there at the bottom of the table in Group B.
I think that they picked up Polish jungler that will be here next week. So I kind of want to see him performing.
The new Jankos.
The new I mean, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, the guy is like kind of a rookie, but not exactly. He was playing in like Spanish league, so he's decent, but nothing else. I really want to see Origin tomorrow against Giants, because when I was watching them, like on Thursday, I believe, Rokat versus Origin, I mean, that was like...
That was something else.
That was something, like, that was different league that I got coached to, Like, that was, like, from different angle I could look at League of Legends, and it was really nice to watch it and enjoy myself with some Waffle Brothers. So it was really fun. So I really want, to repeat that tomorrow when I have free day and I can just chill a bit with some nachos and watch Giant versus Origin, because those games are crazy, man. Yeah, like, insane.
I mean, I'm having a hard time not laughing because you're a very funny person, but it is very important matches for these teams as well.
We can get popcorn.
All right, we're going to pull this back because it is very important matches for these teams. And we see now a team like Rocket, if they put their head to it, now they have 2 wins in this week. That is huge.
Yeah, that would mean so much for them, and I think all these teams are aware that they're playing lower level of League of Legends.
Course.
But at the same time, we have to realize that when the telecom wars are happening and KT and like maybe Faker opens the stream and he watches G2 and H2K play, he may also get his
Feel the
popcorn,
same
right?
way.
I mean, he's laughing. He's laughing. for sure.
Honestly, he's really laughing.
He's really laughing at the guys
really,
too. And that's the reality. There are like gradations in level of play. The thing is right now we see teams of similar skill face off against each other. And for me, that's fun to see. Like they don't have all the basics down. But we still need to see who actually improves the most, because that's where coaching staff steps in. Like it's so hard for probably to make a 10% improvement in H2K because they're closer to the ceiling. It's much easier for a solid coaching staff, in my opinion, to work with these bottom tier teams and teach them the fundamentals. So I want to see growth from these teams.
I mean, if I'm honest, I think Giants improved a lot, and I think they should take the series. Not taking anything from Origin, but I think overall Giants played really well against Vitality. And overall, I think they can step up tomorrow as well. I think they have decent players. I think maybe they had some mental issues or like mental block on stage or maybe, other stuff. But I think overall they are looking way, way stronger than they were. And I think they should take the game.
All right, that's what we will see tomorrow. It's time for us to log off for the night. Thank you so much for joining us all day. Perks, congratulations, and thank you, Jankos. Thank you for your subpar play-by-play crap, but just kidding, it was great. Thanks for stepping in.
Hey, Average is my middle name.
Well, no comment. We'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central European Time as we conclude the cross-group phase of the EU LCS 2017 Spring Split. Have a great Saturday night, everyone.
I will.